Good evening. So great to see everybody here. We want to take a moment, call this meeting to order. Mr. Palladino, please call the roll.
Sure. Trustee Dattis.
Here.
Trustee Jacko.
Here.
Trustee Tunis.
Here.
Trustee Velez.
Here.
Trustee Williams.
Here.
Vice President Bennett Meeting.
Here.
President Munoz.
Here.
The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend meetings of this board, except where specifically exempted by law, in which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this act, the Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having same advertised in the Belleville Times. Also, notice of this meeting has been mailed to the members of the Board of Education, the Borough Clerk, all elementary schools, the middle school, the high school, Hornblower Early Childhood Center, and posted on the district website. Also, this meeting is being televised via the district's YouTube and Facebook pages.
Thank you, Mr. Palladino. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes for September 19th?
Motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
I abstain.
I abstain as well.
Okay, let the record show that Trustee Dattis, Trustee Tunis are abstaining. Just want to make sure. We're going to move on to our student government organization representative.
Point of order. Good evening, everyone. I'm sorry. Our student government representative is not here this evening. However, I do want to mention that at the left side of your left of the dais is Ms. Jody Velez, and she is our student board representative, which is a new position that the board has for this year. It was a bill that was put in by the legislature. And basically, this is a non-voting member of the board. This individual, we've decided here as an administration, which is part of the policy or part of the statute, that the SGO, which is the student government organization, which is who represents all the students here, will choose this representative every year, and they chose Ms. Velez. So she'll be working with the board closely in committees moving forward after her, brief speech tonight here, and she is basically the voice of the student government. So she acts as a liaison, and we welcome her. And I just wanted to basically say that before she said anything. So Ms. Velez, welcome, and take it away. Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jody Velez, and I represent Belleville High School in the Student Government Organization. So in old news, the class of 2023 hosted their senior car wash on September 24th, and students went out to help raise money for their class. The student government also hosted the 2022 homecoming dance on October 6th, and it was a hit. There was food, drinks, and fun, and announcing the homecoming court, our freshman prince, Sean Walsh, freshman princess, Janelle Ann Victorio, sophomore princess, Justice Tishop, sophomore prince, Justice Tishop, sophomore princess, Elenia Vasquez, junior prince, Audrey LaQuindinum, junior princess, Kimberly Da Silva, homecoming king, Anthony Valdez, and our homecoming queen was Gianna Da Silva. There was a homecoming football game against Nutley on October 7th. There were tons of people supporting Belleville and enjoying the game, and spirit was in the air. During the halftime show, the SGO members and Kiwanis presented scholarships to the homecoming winners. From October 3rd to October 7th, Belleville High School celebrated anti-bullying by participating in the Week of Respect dress down, which was completely free. Students contributed to the overall anti-bullying message by dressing down, which went extremely well. And in new news, The Red Ribbon Free Dress Down Week is approaching, and it will be from October 25th to October 29th. It would be about celebrating life and living drug-free. On Tuesday, October 25th, there will be a dodgeball tournament at 7 p.m., which those can participate in to have some fun, and tickets will be sold for $5. There will also be a blood drive starting on November 30th, and Belleville students who wish to donate blood will now have the opportunity to help change people's lives. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you. Great job. Prior to moving into items presented by administration, I just want to point out that item 10.2 has been pulled. And we're moving on to Dr. Tanko to have his presentation.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, everyone. It's great seeing all of you. Welcome, students. I know you're all excited, so we're going to get to you all in one minute. We're very proud of everything, but I wanted to talk about a few things first. But first, I would like to take this opportunity to have a moment of silence for one of our the children of one of our principals here. Tragically lost her son, Miss Cavallo, lost Anthony Cavallo. So I'd like to take a moment of silence and reflection. Thank you very much. Okay, so first in front of me here, you see these incredible renderings of what are the middle school property that the board has purchased and was looking to do a shared service agreement with the township with regard to a parking garage. You also can, we're going to put them onto the side so you could, or in the back, just after we are done with my portion here. And also the senior cafeteria or the upperclassmen lounge. There's a rendering there, which is just going to be a phenomenal addition to our students. It includes several work areas, several study rooms, a kiosk in the middle, sort of like that Starbucks type feel. It also has kiosks when you walk in. They'll be ordering their food, so it's ready. So just state-of-the-art stuff. And the board, we appreciate the board giving us support on this for our kids and moving forward in Belleville. So if you haven't seen those, please take a look later before you guys leave today. I just want to go to 5.3 real quick, which is the HIB self-assessment scores. These are scores that the principals do with our HIB coordinators, our anti-bullying specialists, with regard to professional development, different things that we are doing to make sure that we meet the mandates as established by the Department of Education. It's a self-assessment. The actual grades come out later on. So this is where we look at ourselves first in the mirror and say, what can we do better? The most possible, the greatest score you can get is a 78. And I'm just reporting the scores out. HEC, which is the preschool building, grade 77. School 3, 76. School 4, 78. School 5, 76. School 7, 76. School 8, 77. School 9, 76. School 10, 76. The middle school, 76. And the high school, 78. So we're pretty proud of the self-assessment piece and what we continue to do as a faculty and a staff to make sure that we meet all these mandates. And they're really underfunded mandates, basically saying that the state doesn't really give us funding to help put some of these positions together. And a lot of our teachers do this without any stipend. It's a lot of extra work, so we really appreciate it. So we appreciate all that work, so thank you very much. All right, so let's call up now Mr. Coban to the front here, who's going to talk about our Summer Reading Challenge winners. I'm very proud of all of you. There's an incredible correlation between reading comprehension and those individuals who get to third grade reading at a certain level, and the correlation is between those individuals and graduation from high school. So when I first got here 7 years ago, we put this challenge in, to kind of boost up the summer reading program. and it's really taken off since that. But your children here today just put up some phenomenal numbers. So I'm very excited. You guys should all be proud of them. I'm proud of them. So we're so happy that we're recognizing you all tonight. So, Mr. Coban, I'm going to have Mr. Muniz and Miss Meany go down and meet you down there.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
As our board representatives, because we are very proud of you, celebrating the academic achievements of all of you in the summer. And keep it up, okay? All right. Mr. Coban.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Tomko. Good evening, board members, and good evening, Belleville community. It is my pleasure to announce our 2022 Summer Reading Challenge top readers. We're awarding 4 categories of grade bands tonight to those students who clocked in the most minutes read this past summer. Every child has earned a $25 gift card to Barnes & Noble, whereby it is our hope our students will continue to foster a love of knowledge through reading and possibly some Legos. All right, without further delay, and beginning with School 3, please welcome Kenneth Dye. Adeline Ramirez. Sylvie Lastra. All right, Sylvie. And Saya Lastra. I'm sensing some relation here. All right. Well done, School 3. We'll make sure we get Kenneth and Adeline their gift cards. All right. School 4. We have Maddox Anderson. Jason Colon. Patrick Suarez. And Elise Salas. All right, group photo, group photo. All right, School 4. On to School 5. Please welcome Felicity Cockerham. Ryan Fleming. Aria Cockerham. And Isabella DeGuellum. All right. Thank you, School 5. Skipping 6. It's going to 7. Ardrick Polanco. Kendall Ignacio. Layla Waite. And Jaden Ranucci. Let's give it up for School 7. School 8, Lionel Bonilla. My friend Angel Detris. Albert Sisto. And Rukewa Omadevwe. All right, give it up for School 8. School 9, Kaylin Washington. Anthony Rasick Jr. Janet Gonzalez. And Maria Ortiz. All right, Photoshop. Good job, Anthony. All right, School 10. Avery Amparo. Abigail Caceres. Maya Taylor. And Dylan Cases. Let's hear it for School 10. All right. Top readers of the Summer Reading Challenge, we are proud of you, to echo Dr. Tomko. And continue to read on. Well done. Thank you very much. I'll make sure those get to the right people. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Coban. That was very game show-esque of you. Very, very nicely done. Let's give these young men and women another round of applause, and their parents for. Thank you. Great job. Hopefully, it's very contagious, right? We hope so. Very proud of you guys. Thank you. Make sure you do your homework tonight. Okay. All right. Okay, so now we are going to have a, I'm going to call it Mr. Acosta to do our yearly score report. So before he comes up here and does the statewide assessment results, which is going to be a summary of a very large presentation that will be obviously posted to Facebook as per statute. I'm sorry. To the website as per statute. I want everybody to just kind of remember that, again, it's coming off a learning loss. I do have some reflection on where we were with the Start Strong data versus this data, which occurred a few months later. Much of it is similar. But Mr. Acosta is going to point some things out that are very, very interesting, some very interesting data with regard to students that were here pre-COVID and took our state testing, and then the students that were here just currently last year and took the SLA testing. You'll see that some of those numbers, if you look at longitudinal studies, we had a very high percentage of students move out of district with new students moving in that were never part of our planning, et cetera. So I think it's an important piece to, Mr. Acosta is going to outline it, because when we were looking at this data, it was very interesting. We lost some of our percentage of scores, and we gained scores from other districts students from other districts that we really didn't have the ability to kind of, deal with after a learning loss yet. So, okay, so without further ado, Mr. Acosta, I'll turn it over to you. If the board would like to, well, at least the middle has to get out, but if you'd like to, come down on the dais. Off the dais, please.
Good evening, everyone. So I'm going to do the presentation of the scores. Just so everyone knows, I am going to skip a bunch of the slides because I don't want to bore you by going through every single slide with all of the scores. You can look at those at your own leisure. It will be posted on the website either tonight or tomorrow in the morning, so you can take a look at the scores because there's a lot of breakdown of scores. But I do want to highlight a couple of things as far as some trends that we've found here in the district. So just some information, NJSLA, every student in grades 3 through 9 for ELA, 3 through 8, and then at the high school level, depending on the math course that they're taking, Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, as well as the 11th graders taking the new assessment, the NJ-GPA, which was supposed to be a graduation requirement for the class of 2023, which was waived, and is now a graduation requirement for the class of 2024 and 2025. These are the scores, the ranges, the levels. The first slide is just showing the number of students that tested for each subject area and grade level. Now looking at ELA, these are the scores district compared to the state as far as meeting or exceeding expectations for each grade level. And this is the performance levels by grade level for our district, within the district, where we fell in each of the 5 levels for each of the assessments. Then, and I'm going to skip through these, this is every elementary school, levels 4 and 5, compared to the district and compared to the state. So school 3, school 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. These are the performance levels. I banded levels 1 and 2, that is below expectations. Level 3 is approaching, so those are the students that are almost at grade level proficiency, and then levels 4 and 5 are meeting and exceeding. Here are the subgroups by grade level. Again, these are percentages of levels 4 and 5. These are the programs first. You have your ELL population, 504, special education, free and reduced lunch, non-free and reduced lunch, general education, and then all students. The second breakdown is race and ethnicity. These are the 4 that we will be reporting due to the fact that if we don't have 10 or more students in a particular subgroup, we're not allowed to report them. We have to suppress those scores. So these are the 4: Asian, African American, Hispanic, and white. And then our male-female breakdown as well. Same thing for math, same exact breakdown. I'm going to go through these because it's the same format as the ELA was. Performance levels, subgroups again. Now I wanted to stop here. As you can see for Algebra 2, for example, the asterisk, that just means we didn't have enough students to report the data for those subgroups, so they were suppressed. Science, same thing, district versus state. And then within, and the science is only grades 5, 8, and 11. Same thing with the elementaries. Each elementary compared to the district, compared to the state for science. Same thing with subgroups. As you can see, grade 11, section 504 students, not enough students to report the data. Here's our race, ethnicity, and the gender. And the GPA, which was our 11th grade students last year. This is district versus state. Same thing, 504 had to suppress for both ELA and math. Race, ethnicity, gender. So here are the trends. So the first slide that I want to go over is a comparison of the last time we took the state assessment, which was the spring of 2019, versus this year, this past year, spring 2022. And so on the left, you have the state, the district, and then what the difference was. So for third grade, we were 1 point below the state. Same for fourth. For fifth, it was 5. For sixth, it was even. Seventh, etc. Now, the difference on the right, this is the second column from the right that says difference. That's our difference between district and state for the 2022 assessment. Going down the one grade level, grade 6, we were actually 4% higher than the state. And then the last column is, did we bridge the gap between our district and the state, comparing 2019 to 2022? And you can see in a few grade levels, grade 5, we were able to close that gap by 3%, grade 6 by 4%, grade 8 by 7%, and grade 9 stayed the same, still 15% below the state. Same thing for math. We were able to close the gap there in math for third grade by 5%, fourth grade by 1%, fifth grade by 2%, sixth grade by 3%, and our Algebra 1 by 6%. This one is by cohort. So the students that were in third grade, for example, in 2019, who were sixth graders this past year, they actually improved. They were 4% better than the state, and then 3 overall, comparing them from when they took it in 2019 and when they took it in 2022. And again, this is the same group of students. So it's the class of, and these years are off by 1, so it should really be a class of 2028, 2027, 26, 25, and then 2023. And 2023, that was the GPA. That was an 11% increase in the difference between the district and the state. So big improvement there for our 11th graders. And same with math. I was only able to do the 2 because in the upper levels for math, it's not by grade level, it's by subject area. The state does not give us information statewide as far as how many 9th, 10th, or 11th graders took Algebra 1, Algebra 2, Geometry. They just give an overall number. So I'm not able to give you the difference for those years, but for grades 6 and 7 in math, for both grade levels, we improved. So it was a 7% increase in the difference between district and state, and 4% for the 7th graders. Now, these next 4 slides, the last 4 slides, are probably the most important, and it's eye-opening because this is not something that people usually report or take into consideration when talking about test scores, and it's the transiency, the transient rate, and our district is very, very high. So as you can see, so basically for any other Excel nerd that's out there, I took spreadsheet from 2019, spreadsheet from 2022, VLOOKUP to check and see who took the assessment in 2022 and also took it in 2019, and the numbers are staggering. It's so 30% of our 6th graders are new students to the district. 32% of our 7th graders, 28% of the students that took Algebra 1, 32% of the students that took Geometry, 16% of the students that took Algebra 2, and 30% of the students that took the NJ GPA, which makes it very hard to plan because there's no consistency. So these are brand new students who were not here in 2019 that took the assessment in 2022. Same with math, 30% sixth grade, 31% seventh grade. I'm sorry, this is ELA. 26% eighth, 27% ninth, 30% for the NJ GPA. On the flip side, I did the opposite. I checked, okay, who took it in 2019, who also took it in 2022, because that would mean these are our students that have transferred out since 2019. And again, 27% of our students in third grade that took it in third grade in 2019 have transferred out. 27% of our fourth grade, 25% of our fifth, 28% of sixth, 29% of seventh, 30% of eighth. So essentially about 57% of our students either transferred or are brand new students, which means only 43% of our students were here from 2019 through 2022, which is amazing. That's more than half of our students who are brand new to the district or left the district. That's a lot of movement. So almost impossible to have that consistency when you have so much movement. And that was something that I kind of thought about looking up and thought it was a really important thing to bring up, especially our district. I don't know what the numbers are in other districts, but our district, I mean, we have a ton of students transferring in and out all year, every year. So I wanted to point that out because that's a really important point. We are a very transient district, so I thought that was a really important point to bring out. Same thing with ELA, 27% transferred out in third, 26 in fourth, 26 in fifth, 28 in sixth, and 29 in eighth grade. Some of the intervention strategies to mitigate this learning loss, an emphasis on the priority standards in math and ELA, continuing with the IXL, small group remediation and during the RISE period, targeted before and after school tutoring, readers, writers workshop, and then the two big pieces at the end are response to intervention, which is in full swing this year. Our students are being tiered, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, based on the assistance that they need, and we're using that Renaissance Star 360 as one of the major data points to determine who falls within these levels. We're also using the Start Strong assessment, and we're using the NJSLA information as well. So hopefully with these targeted interventions for these students, because it's individualized, we're hoping that that will help bridge the gap and hopefully raise our test scores. And that's the end of the presentation. Thank you guys very much, and have a great night.
Thank you, Mr. Acosta. We are also putting together, I think it's important too, with the student growth objectives, those percentages. Dr. D'Elia, Mr. Acosta, myself are looking at some of that data. Maybe we can report out to the board, because I think that'll talk about some of that transiency that Mr. Acosta brought up, which has always been an interesting number since I've been here, but since COVID has really grown. I mean, in January alone, we have a very high number of registrations, which is really interesting. It makes it very difficult for teachers to kind of have some continuity with students. It's very difficult to remediate students or pick up some of their weaknesses. I also, again, and I'll sit here and argue with anybody about preschool. I absolutely know that the influx of preschool from a very low percentage of preschool universe to almost 90%, hopefully next year will be close to 100%, as I'm looking at Mr. Vargas here, you know, is definitely going to pan out for this community score-wise, as long as these families and these individual students stay, so we have some type of longitudinal, progression of aptitude here. So that's one of the differences in Belleville from other communities, but it doesn't make Belleville any less great because our kids are great, our teachers are great, and it just shows how much more work that the administration has to do in planning with the teachers. So again, progress. We'll continue to look at the data. The directors and I are looking at skills assessment because the NJSLA gives you a breakdown of skills that Mr. Acosta gets. Now we're kind of really scrubbing that data. When I first, maybe my second or third year here, Mr. Ginta, Mr. Drosti, Dr. Kuzmano, and myself sat down and we went student by student and we did an Excel sheet on all the skills. We gave every teacher and principal each individual student and the skills they needed. We called them prescription cards. Some of the administrators may remember that. Now it's kind of done for you, right? So we're making sure that the principals understand what's in there, how they relate to RTI, all those things, response to interventions, which was something that we've been kind of piloting for a few years and now is in full effect, different tiers. You see on the agenda there's an update for that supervisor position. So if you have some time, look at that description. It tells you exactly what that program's about. But there's a lot of different things happening here. So again, obviously we can improve and we need to improve. But I always say that there's great things happening here. Individual students are making progress. We have students that get into the top schools in the country, probably globally too. As we've seen students in Harvard and we're working on the retention rates of those students in colleges. So again, lot of work happening here. So really appreciate everyone, the community, the parents, the teachers, staff members, administrators, and this board for supporting all of our initiatives. Mr. Palladino for finding the money for all these programs, and that's really it. So progress, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Tomko, for your report. We're going to move on to remarks by citizens. May I have a motion to open remarks by citizens, please?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Session one. The board president will call the individuals who wish to speak in the order that they appear in the signing roster. The individual called to be heard shall proceed with his or her comments as briefly as the subject permits with a maximum of 3 minutes at the podium. All inquiries must be directed at the board president. Dr. Liz Masagia.
Good evening. We have nothing from the phantom Mr. Egan tonight? What? I'm sorry. We have nothing from the phantom Mr. Egan this evening? I think I've been coming here for years, and I don't know if I've actually ever seen the man. Does he really exist? I'm just curious. Okay, I would like to thank you for once again, I'm assuming that the 10-2 is actually tabled again for this evening. I know I brought it up last month about not giving away that piece of land, and many of you agreed with me, and I'm hoping that if it ever gets back...
I'm sorry, Ms. Masagia, but this is not on the agenda. It can't be spoken on.
It was on the agenda.
Yes, but it's been pulled since, so it's not open for discussion currently.
but it was on the agenda, and that's why I wanted to just say thank you for pulling it from the agenda again.
Yes,
That's all.
you can speak on that specific item on the second portion of the meeting if you like. I just, if you have any other
Well,
topics.
I didn't sign up to speak on the second part because I was going to speak about it because it was on the agenda, and at the time that I signed up, I didn't think I needed to address that again. Okay, anyway, I have a couple of questions. As you can see, this is going well. Okay, on number 10.7, with the Delta T group to provide district with substitute teachers for the 2022-2023 school year, is this a separate firm that provides us with substitutes? Is this in addition to private citizens applying for substitute positions? Because I talk to people all over town who tell me that they have applied for substitute positions and they have heard nothing. So I would like to know if we're just going outside privately to a firm to acquire substitutes and people should not apply directly to the district, if that's just a new procedure that we're using, or if they should still continue to do so. But people are told me that they have applied and they have heard nothing. So if you let me know what the actual procedure is, I will share that. On 1023, if I can have some clarification on this 56,000 plus for the developing of an active learning pilot classroom, can you tell me exactly what an active learning pilot classroom is and for what population that will be and where it will be located? And then one more thing on 1024, $8,000 for brakes on one school bus. I would like some clarification on that because I also saw in the bills, we're spending like $30,000 for parts. Are we like now just buying parts and building vehicles? Thank you.
Yeah, I guess through the chair. Mr. Sajja, for several years now we've been using outside services for substitutes. So anyone who is telling you that they're not, have them contact me directly. So I don't know who that would be, but if you give them, tell them to contact me directly, that'd be great. The active classrooms are basically pilots that we're doing at the middle school and high school. Different things with, if I remember correctly, more of facilities things, whiteboards, different rectangular things to try to make those areas, a little bit nicer, wall tracks, etc. But I could get you some more information on that.
Mr. Michael Sheldon?
Good evening. I brought along my own clock tonight, so better police my time. Bear with me, I'm recovering from the flu. First question tonight is one of the checks on the bills list. This is check number 085885 for Castronavo and McKinney attorney fees for $70,000. You may not be able to talk specifically about what is involved here, but I'd like to know at least in a summary fashion, what did this law firm do to the district to warrant $70,000? The Bush Law Group's monthly legal expenses are typically under $20,000. So what did this firm do for $70,000? In regard to the assessment results that Mr. Acosta just presented, they were on the screen for way too short a period of time to really make anything meaningful from them. But what I did notice is that the Algebra 1 scores in 2019, only 9%, just 9% of our students were meeting or exceeding grade level expectation. Most recently, 2022, only 7%. This is abysmal. This is tragic. We are letting down at least an entire generation of Belleville students. How in the world do we expect them to be able to succeed in our new economy, in our new world, with such an emphasis on STEM, when only 7% of our students have any capability at all in the most basic level of mathematics? I don't expect our students at this stage to be able to use Fourier analysis to be able to solve partial differential equations with boundary values, or to understand the Riemann hypothesis or the Goldbach conjecture. But only 7%? You guys spend so much time talking about green fairs and cultural festivals. You seem to be ignoring the fundamental reason why we have a school system, and that is to educate properly our students. You are failing them. We're spending millions and millions of dollars every year, taxpayer dollars. You've brought in scores of experts. You're paid over $250,000 a year. You are letting down our students. And don't tell me about, well, there's an influx of students and outflow. One of the paradigms for those who do data analysis is that figures can lie and liars know how to figure. If you want to spin data to suit your own political interest, you'll find a way to do that. This is implorable. You cannot continue like this. Something must be done. Bring in outside people. Bring in other qualified experts to do a fair analysis of how this district is being run or mismanaged, and fix this for once and for all. My time is up. Thank you.
Can I have a...
Yeah, you can, but he has his own clock, which I would have told him to turn off.
Can I have a motion to close public participation?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Okay, we're going to move on to our personnel. Can I have a motion on 7-1 to 741, please?
Motion.
Second.
Is there any discussion on any of the items? Mr. Palladino, please call the roll.
Sure. Trustee Dattis.
Yes.
Trustee Jacko.
Yes.
Trustee Tunis.
Yes.
Trustee Velez.
Yes.
Trustee Williams.
Yes.
Vice President Benamini.
Yes.
President Munoz.
Yes, thank you. We don't have anything here for curriculum and instruction. We're going to move on to board action and board policy. May I have a motion on 9-1 to 9-20?
Motion.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Yes, I would, Mr. President, I would like to vote on request for item 9.21 to be read and voted on separately.
Yes, we can. What do you need? Some clarification on it?
No, I just would like it to be read and then take a vote.
I don't.
Oh, okay. 9.21 is an addendum.
It's an added addendum.
Sorry, I'm about to sneeze. So. Okay. Resolved that the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of Dr. Richard D. Tomko, Superintendent of Schools, approves the shared service pilot between the Belleville Board of Education and Belleville Township for the recreation, wrestling, and basketball programs for the 2022-23 school year. Budget and personnel to be determined.
Okay. Yes, there's been a motion and a second. Now we need to call the roll. Mr. Palladino, please call the roll.
Trustee Dattis.
Yes.
Trustee Jacko.
Question, are we voting from 9.1 through the end and then separately voting on 9.21?
No, we're voting on everything. 9.1 to 9.20. I'm sorry, 9.21, I'm sorry.
Because I asked for the vote to be separate. And
You
then
want
there
the
was a
vote?
motion and then
Okay.
a second, so I'm confused.
Okay, there's a question that's, there's already a question that's been called. So, and she could vote no on 9.21, but the motion before the discussion took place was for 9.1 through 9.21. So the vote right now is for 9.21. We've already had at least one vote cast, so we have to continue on this vote, and then if it fails, we could separately, if necessary, take up whichever ones don't pass.
So, Mr. Palladino, call the roll.
Where were we? Trustee Jacko.
Yes for everything. I'm sorry, let me retract that. 9.18, take no part. 9.21, no. The rest, yes.
Trustee Tunis.
Yes.
Trustee Velez.
Yes.
Trustee Williams.
Yes.
Vice President Benamini.
Yes.
President Munoz.
Yes. Moving on to purchasing and business services, can I have a motion on from 10-1, and then 10-3 to 10-26?
Motion.
Second.
Is there any discussion on these items? Hearing none, Mr. Palladino, please call the roll.
Trustee Dattis.
Yes.
Trustee Jacko.
All yes, 10.2 was pulled, so.
Trustee Tunis.
Yes.
Trustee Velez.
Yes.
Trustee Williams.
Yes.
Vice President Benamini.
Yes.
President Munoz.
Yes. Moving on to finance, 11-1 to 11-12. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Palladino, please call the roll.
Trustee Dattis.
Yes.
Trustee Jacko.
Yes.
Trustee Tunis.
Yes.
Trustee Velez.
Yes.
Trustee Williams.
Yes.
Vice President Benamini.
Yes.
President Munoz.
Yes, thank you. Remarks by citizens, moving on to remarks by citizens, may I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Is there, is everyone in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? Okay. The board president, I will call the individual who wishes to speak in the order that they appear in the sign-in roster. The individual to be called shall proceed with his or her statements as briefly as the subject allows for a maximum of 5 minutes at the podium. All inquiries must be directed at the board president. Mr. Michael Sheldon.
Mr. Sheldon, before you begin, I just want to, if you have a sound maker as associated with the alarm, it's totally fine for you to have your own clock there, but I ask you to turn it off sooner.
I will. I
thank
forgot to turn it off
No
when I
problem.
sat down.
Okay, just want to make sure. Thank you.
Good evening again. I noticed that, as has happened the last 2 months, both Mr. Muniz and Ms. Bennett-Meany have allowed the monthly lease check to Mr. Mellum, whose building you partially use at 335 Union Avenue, to go through without any question. As I announced at the last board meeting and have subsequently done, I have filed an ethics complaint about this very matter. In fact, late this afternoon, the attorney representing the board matters in this matter asked me for over a 1-month extension to prepare a response, and I willingly granted that extension, even though I didn't have to. But
Mr. Sheldon, I'm just going to pause your time for 1 second. I just want to I paused your time,
Right.
so
All right.
I don't want to take
Okay.
anything from you. And I'm going to remind you, and certainly you can do whatever you please. I don't represent you, at least anymore. But you know, ethics matters are confidential. I think you know that. School ethics matters, there's a point where they become public, but at this point in the process, they're confidential. I want to remind you of that.
I'm not talking about the details of the ethics complaint. I know very well, I've read through the State Ethics Commission. They said that they prefer that the details not be discussed, and I am honoring that. I'm not talking about the details.
Let's resume our time again here.
All right, let me restart my clock. Thank you.
Okay.
Today, we have now passed the middle of October. This is the time at which districts are supposed to report their official population numbers. So I wanted to ask Dr. Tomko, when will the community at large learn the enrollment numbers for the current academic year? I hope that will be forthcoming very soon. The other matter I want to discuss, 10-2 was tabled tonight. That's the disposition of school number 1 property. But tonight you have these beautiful charts here showing the anticipated new shared services garage that will be built on Washington Avenue alongside the middle school, partially upon the former property of the King's Window Store lot. So I want to ask here, since you have architectural renderings, do you already have construction plans in place and projected costs for this project? As the community should be aware, those who may not know of this or may not remember, on April 12th of this year, the town council at your behalf passed a shared services bond ordinance for $11.9 million, ostensibly to pay for this parking garage. Some of that money, $5 million of it, it was going to be allocated for the board to purchase the Eastern International College, which is alongside where this garage is going to go, which Dr. Tomko now euphemistically calls the middle school South Campus. But as many of you know, and I've been this target of multiple lawsuits and threats from various lawyers, especially over the last 6 months. This particular parking garage, if you look at this chart closest to me, there's no possible way that garage is going to fit on the King's Window lot itself. The only way you're going to be able to fit a garage of that scale in that area is if the undeveloped land next to the middle school is seeded for this garage. And I made references to this back in April when all of this would-be conspiracy to get this shared, this really what I believe is a scam, and we'll see how history validates my assertions. But this garage is going to necessarily need the other land next to the middle school to accommodate this project. So my other question is, has this board already made that decision to cede this land to this project? If so, there hasn't been any board action, public board action about it. If it hasn't, when are you going to have the board vote to approve the use of this other land for this parking garage? And mark my words, if the folks on this board who are up for re-election do not get re-elected next month, there'll be a very quick effort in the remaining 2 months of this year to get this land switched over to either the town hall or to some developer, because your worst fears would be realized if there's a new board seated on January and this piece of land isn't made available for this garage. You are now legally obligated to build this garage. And if you don't carry through with it, I believe that there would be dire consequences, even possibly criminal culpability, because as the community will soon learn, there are other interests associated with this garage who are going to be benefiting from it, not just necessarily the Board of Education. But more about that in the days to come.
Is that actually something that can happen?
I don't know what's happening, but if I could just clarify.
Yeah, please, because I don't see how that's even possible.
I just want to clarify so that we don't leave here very confused. I don't really understand most of what you just said, but I'm trying to figure that the grassy knoll next to King's property is the board's property. So I'm just trying to figure out. I think the idea was that the conspiracy theory was that we were going to lease it to again, back in the first, when we were first trying to get preschool up, we spoke to a lot of developers. Again, I visited almost every empty lot, empty building, et cetera, to discuss, how we can kind of make some rooms for preschool. So one of the ideas was for a developer to develop whatever the plans were at the time and give us a floor of preschool. And in order for us to get a playground, et cetera, we would have needed to lease or sell our lot so they can do that. That was a different situation, but that's part of the middle school property. So again, this would be just more of the middle school property. So all of those lots, that entire block except one house now will be basically Board of Ed property. So I don't know if that clears up some of the confusion, but that is already middle school property, so regardless of the election.
So to be clear, if we all lose and there's a new board, this piece of property, the King's property, is school property, correct?
Well, right now that property is Board of Ed property.
So
but there is, just to be very clear, the board still has to approve plans and
Correct.
all that other stuff. So regardless if this board, the next board that reorganizes, decides not to go forward with the property, we still are going to be paying the township for $11 million or whatever it was.
And the only way to get rid of this property would be at some point to actually sell this property.
That's a whole other thing. Yeah, if you were going to sell it to somebody, that's a sealed bid. That's a whole big process.
Yeah, exactly.
County approvals, all the stuff we just went through to get these properties.
Exactly. No, just to clarify, just to make sure that there is no
I mean,
conspiracy that
no, absolutely not.
transferred to a developer somehow.
No, again, with a state monitor here, this is all very systemic. It takes time. Even just the due diligence of the School One property, which obviously, is a heightened interest for the township because of the history. That had to go to the state before the board even was able to see it. So there's a big process here. I'm not saying that was followed the right way in the past, but everything has been followed correctly here. But that is the board's property. So,
thank you. Can I have a motion to close public participation?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're going to move on to remarks and committee reports from the board members. Mr. Velez.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's great to see everybody tonight. I have no committee reports at the moment, but I do have some comments regarding the action taken tonight. I just want to say I'm very excited for this new opportunity in regards to the recreation wrestling and basketball pilot that we've just approved tonight. I think this is an incredible opportunity for our children to really, have a greater and even, more comprehensive experience when it comes to wrestling and basketball. I think this is a great opportunity to try new things, and we're really going to see, is this going to be better this way versus the current situation? And I think by allowing, this opportunity to happen, we're really, we're removing all barriers and really testing new things out and really opening possibilities and doorways for our children and their athletic opportunities. So I'm very excited for this, and I just want to say great work by everyone here. This is really a tough job and really a thankless job. Every election cycle, every day, regardless of what time it is, I think everybody is doing some wonderful stuff. People are paying attention. I'm also very grateful to the people at home and to the people who always come to these meetings and having their say. I just think as a community, it's really great to see everyone here taking such an active approach to the school system, and I'm just very excited to see all these new initiatives take place. So I just want to say thank you to everyone and to wish everybody a great night, and I cannot wait. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Velez. Trustee Jaco?
Thank you, Mr. President. Today, the Belleville Public Schools had its 7th annual District Pink Out Just Down Day in support of a cure for cancer. I know some students participated with $2 and some teachers and staff for $5. So I wanted to say that I wore pink today to support that cause, and I want to pass along to our BA my $5 so that he can give it to the person handling that fundraiser, please. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Gabby. Also, I want to welcome Jody Velez, our student board member. I kindly request to our superintendent, Dr. Tom, success, not just limiting it to in-class learning, but also to expand it to hands-on learning with more trips, perhaps, free tutoring, perhaps, that can even be done with more peer-on-peer services, perhaps, in the future. In regards to workforce or internships, I know I'm mentioning some of these things that are ongoing, but I would like to expand it further and making sure that we have more counselors to service individual needs more in depth, and those college-bound students to be also serviced adequately. What I'm basically asking is for us to help students exceed proficiency and close in these possible gaps to help bridge these gaps based which were confirmed with our test scores. In regards to change orders, Dr. Tomko, I respectfully request that these be handled more so closely, because I think in the interest of our Belleville Public Schools budget, any increases affect us because we have projected costs in our budget already, and these contracts go out to bid, so there has to be some restrictions and or procedures that we shouldn't be deviating from. So I ask you for that, please. Mr. Velez made a comment today. I was going to speak about it, which was the addendum 9.21. I coached in the rec basketball, baseball for over 7 years. And it's a service that when I moved into this town, I participated in. I moved into this town when I was 11. I just turned 43 last week, so I'm only 21. But these 32 years, not only was I a student here, but my siblings and my niece and cousins have gone through the rec department. And that has always been something the township provided a service to us taxpayers, because I wear many hats and one of them is taxpayer. So also I would like to say that I personally do like to move forward and look at things, and I accept change, but there's certain things that I, as a parent, also have opinions of, and obviously I don't share sometimes the opinions with other trustees, so I do like to speak my mind on that. I think that our recreation department should be handled by the township, as it has been for over 32 years that I've been here. And that should be expanded on its own through that entity. It would be nice to see that Geralman rec department expand completely, and that should be handled by that entity. I don't think that our Board of Education school district however you like to say it, should be responsible for any of that. At the end of the day, there should always be communication, just like I know my neighbors to the right of my house and the left of my house. So I understand that, but we should definitely, as separate entities, also do our due diligence and our part in the community. So we're bringing things to the table together, not just on one side or on the other side. So I think as a parent, as a taxpayer, as a mom, as a person up here, as a trustee, I do ask for things of the town, of my peers, of my surroundings at work, etc. And I ask more of our township. I mean, I know that in the past, people know that I've always been advocating for a pool, and I've always been told, you know, it costs money, Ms. Chaco, it costs money. We're spending a lot of money. So I think, you know, with that said, the community can sense a little bit of where my thoughts are as to why I voted no, because I think township has tax dollars, our Board of Ed has tax dollars, and we each have to do something for our community, our children, and our taxpayers individually. Thank you.
Trustee Tunis.
Thank you all for coming out tonight. I'll be short and brief. We had no committee meeting, so I have nothing to report at this time. Thank you, Jody Velez, Student of the Month, sitting up here on the dais with us, for your presentation. Congratulations to all our Summer Reading Challenge winners. Also, once again, Mr. Acosta, you always come through with your presentations. The 2022 assessment presentation, thank you very much for that. Who's my neighbor, by the way. Anyway, I just want to tell everybody have a great night tonight, and thank you. That's it.
Trustee Dattis.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to say congratulations to the Summer Reading Challenge winners. That was very exciting. Our test scores, yes, they're a little disappointing. I hear everybody. We as a board, we're going to do our part, and we're going to look into this and see what we can do to help improve that situation, because it does need improving. Okay, moving on. I'm excited about the pilot for the shared recreation programs. I think this is going to be a great opportunity for everyone involved. I think we can provide a lot for these kids, and it's very exciting for them. That's all I got tonight. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Williams.
Thank you, President Muniz. Good evening, everyone. I want to start by again extending my deepest condolences to Mrs. Cavallo and her family. Please know that you and your family are constantly in my thoughts and prayers. Following, I'd like to commend our 2022 Summer Reading Challenge winners. I am so proud of our young scholars for their commitment to reading and being an example of rigor and scholarship in our schools. Let us as a district strive to reach higher heights and implement interventions to promote student achievement. I'd also like to welcome our new student school board representative. We're so happy to have you with us and continue to keep up the great work. Lastly, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Please let us all continue to fight and support this worthy cause. Thank you everyone for coming out tonight, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you very much. Ms. Jody Velez, would you like to say anything?
Good evening, everyone. I would personally like to congratulate the top reader winners of the Summer Reading Challenge and all the students that participated. And I know that when I was younger, and even now, reading opened my world and allowed me to perceive things differently. And these future leaders of Belleville begin to prosper through reading, which is a transformative and impactful action that I hope other students within Belleville can discover. You know, growing up, my mom, she was a preschool teacher, and she taught me that reading is fundamental, and it's something that carries with us, and it goes with us as we get older. And I just wanted to thank everyone on the Board of Education for introducing me and welcoming me with open arms, and I cannot wait to work with everyone diligently on other things. Thank you.
Thank you, Jody. You did a terrific job. We're very proud of you. As for me, I echo a lot of what's been said here. I do want to congratulate our students that were here today that won their awards. It's, you know, one of the pleasures that I get to have is being able to hand out the awards to our kids. It's great to see their excitement and the joy in their faces. I really don't have much to report. This has been a short month for us. We really have. Gabby, I cut you off. I'm sorry. I got tripped up with Jody.
Oh, you're replacing me already?
And that's it already. Let me apologize. Let's move. Let me move over to Vice President Benamini.
Thank you.
I knew I was forgetting something.
Oh, yeah. Good evening, everyone, and welcome and thank you, Jody Velez, for your wonderful school report. Congratulations to all of the Summer Reading Challenge winners. Thank you, Mr. Acosta, for your presentation. And just to piggyback off of your presentation, and not to go back to a couple of years ago when we were closed for COVID and our students returned last year, the board definitely recognized and it was recommended from the superintendent that we look into different interventions. So the last slide that Mr. Acosta had on the board there kind of listed everything that we're starting to do this year for 2022 to 2023. So I think we have to just be very patient. The RTI program and all of the new the new teachers that are working with the students with that program to be able to look at their development and place them where they should be so that they continue to learn and grow. The tutoring, the before school and after tutoring, the other student growth objectives. Anyway, I don't want to go through the whole thing. The slide was up there. And we are doing what we need to do to kind of accelerate their learning. I think we'll see with the next assessment where our students are. With that said, I also want to be very empathetic and certainly mention our hardworking teachers. Them too, of which many have left, have either retired or moved on to different careers. So we have a lot of new teachers. And that's an interesting dynamic too, because we said 30% of the students were transient, but I bet if we looked at the number of the population of our teachers, we'd find out some very interesting things about wanting to be a teacher now in New Jersey. And I think we need to appreciate them, and those standards are probably going to change for the future as well. So I want to send out kudos to all of the teachers out there, educators, and staff at our school district. Couple of events that are coming up. Today, of course, was the District Pink Out Day, the 7th annual. All the proceeds that were collected today in the schools are going to the American Cancer Society. October 18th is Financial Aid Night here at BHS, 6:30 to 8:30. If you have a high school student going to college, you definitely want to come to Financial Aid Night. A lot of Halloween events coming up, so I want to wish everyone a safe and happy Halloween. We have the Township Halloween Pumpkin Patch, Saturday, October 22nd from 11 to 2. We have the Ecuadorian Community Halloween event. And also, you can go online and on Facebook to a lot of these organizations. There are a lot of separate organizations that are doing a lot this year for Halloween. The police department on October 28th, 5 to 8 o'clock, their Halloween is at 152 Washington Avenue at their headquarters. Also wanted to mention Veterans Day and the parade, that's on November 13th. So that's it for me. Thank you for coming. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?